r/AskReddit. People of Reddit, what is it like to be super attractive? I once went on 2 dates with a really beautiful girl. I'm not attractive, I'm on Reddit, and I think the only reason she spent any time with me at all was that I listened to what she had to say. Anyway, I asked her what it was like. She said every guy wants to fuck me, and every girl hates me. It's really lonely. At the moment it struck me as really sad, and it came off as sincere. I got married, and most of my friends dropped off the face of the earth. Also suddenly I became a bit more viable as a friend to the same sex, and a lot less to the opposite sex. I'm still ahead because of the +1 spouse, but damn. Can't a person have friends who aren't conditional on being single? Jokes on them, I have a bunch of still single friends who now ask for matchmaking and shit. Apparently married people automatically get skill points in that. If it makes you feel any better, sometimes it's just tough for single people to hang out with married people. I mean, not all the time, but it happens. A lot of my friends recently started getting married and or having kids. Early 30s. I'm still single, early 30s, so if I want to hang out with them it's always a couples thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm super happy for them and all, but it can be tough being the perpetual third wheel. Like, no, I don't really want to go to a couples pottery class because I'll just end up drinking too many cocktails and wishing I had brought my dog to play with. As a girl who's pretty confident in her looks, I tend to stay away from people who claim that being attractive is so damn hard. Anyone can be ugly if they put their mind to it. Not everyone can be super hot. Also, if every girl hates her, there's probably a good reason for that doesn't include her looks. Most of my girlfriends are gorgeous and they're great people. We exchange clothes, beauty tips and are very supportive of one another. I'm sure there are many insecure girls who hate pretty girls, but I don't know any of them. Also, if every girl hates her, there's probably a good reason for that doesn't include her looks. I had a friend like this. She claimed that every time she made female friends they would get jealous and leave her. As I got to know her better I came to realize she saw everything we did as a competition. She would insult me when we were around other people and downplay every good thing about me. Such a shame because she was a beautiful lady. My ex-best friend from college was like that. She also once told me, you'd actually be hot if you put any effort into yourself. When I finally did figure out how to dress my body, plus-size girl graduating from cheap cargo pants and loose t-shirts to clothes that actually fit me, she said something about how I might be competition for her when it came to guys at the bars and clubs. She always talked about how men would say she was a unique beauty and how they'd never seen a woman who looked as beautiful as her. I had to laugh after we stopped being friends because I swear I've seen 6 of her doppelgangers, and they were such a resemblance that I'd actually ducked and dodged being seen because I thought it was her. It was a volatile friendship overall, and I burned that bridge good to flee the toxicity. These were in states I knew it was unlikely she'd even be there the same time as me if at all. I was not gonna take the chance. But yeah? Is unique beauty having so many doppelgangers? Not so unique. This friend got super jealous of everyone who posed some sort of power threat to her. The girl she thought was prettier? Must be a bitch. She even got jealous of her friends' partners because they posed a conflict in attention, as in the partner was stealing her friends away from her and she wouldn't get all her friends' time. I noticed this when she continually called her friend's girlfriend an evil bitch. And then I got to know the girlfriend in a class we took together, and she was the sweetest, most lovely woman. Ex-friend then made a huge stink about how much I talked about my new boyfriend. We've been together for 9 years now. When I started dating him, I listened to all her stories about her male conquests. And I wasn't allowed to talk about my own boyfriend. What she said has a grain of truth of it but is an exaggeration. Most women aren't threatened or jealous of beautiful women. There are a few who are, but in my experience, it's like 1 in 100. The guy thing is a little less of an exaggeration because a lot of the time when a guy talks to you, like really takes time to get to know you, it's because he's hoping that something will happen, whether that's sex or dating. But at the same time, there are guys who either aren't interested in whatever reason or they understand that you're just being friendly by talking to them and they respect that. You do get some guys who are pussy or don't think of you as a real person, just something to get, and they suck. How many flavors of ice cream do you try before you find your favorite? One? Dozens? The point is, they know when they find someone that really meshes with them on a personal level, whereas someone who has dated fewer people may have that nagging what else is out the thought in their head. They understand the right balance for them of good versus bad because everyone has both. They know what works for them and are less likely to throw away a good fit with a few minor issues for a roll of the dice. Where someone who has only dated a few people may not know how good the person they have is until they have more points of comparison. I have dated enough women to know what I like, don't like, and what I can tolerate as far as quirks or oddities. I'd never toss a girl with minor annoyances to the side for a roll of the dice. Too much crazy out. I can answer this question because I've somewhat experienced both sides. In my undergrad, I was a very traditionally attractive man. Nice hair, symmetrical face, worked out a lot and had good social skills. Fast forward 6 or 7 years and my hairline have receded enough to where my nice hair isn't as nice, and I've put on some weight. Not an insurmountable amount of weight, but I'm sitting at 240 pounds with less muscle than when I was at 210. I'm not ugly, but certainly not the same as I was at 20. The main differences I notice are just in smiles from strangers. I would have so many people just give me a bright smile when I walked around. That just happens a lot less now. It's honestly the only noticeable difference. I didn't really get free drinks or stuff at bars. Just was very easy to talk to people of both genders, partially because of looks, and partially because of confidence. I'm sure if I got back on Tinder, my results would be way different this go around. So I'm not looking forward to that. Ah man, I've been fat and therefore ugly my entire life, and I was saying to myself earlier this week that I finally reached a weight where people smile back. I'm down 160 so far and it was like a switch got flipped. Returned smiles, eye contact, all that. I've never hated people more. I have never classified myself as super attractive, but I've always been told that I am. It's awkward, but now that I'm older a lot of things from my 20s make more sense. Because of the things people said to me or within earshot, I ended up super self-conscious. People tend to be more critical of attractive people. We hear a lot of buts that if taken the wrong way can lead to a lot of pretty awful moments of shitty self-worth. Here are things I've overheard that stuck with me. He's good looking, but he's probably an asshole. His face is gorgeous, but his body isn't as nice as I'd like. I'd love to fuck him, but he's probably stupid. He's so attractive and I'd date him, but he will cheat on me. The buts were the things that stuck. I naturally assumed something was wrong with me because strangers were talking about me. So I tried to fix those criticisms. I worked out harder to fix my perceived body flaws. I worked on being more outgoing and charming to fix my obvious personality flaws. I did everything I could to appear to be a better so. Then it became. Look at his muscles. He's so hot, but clearly he loves himself too much. He's gorgeous, but probably so full of himself. With looks like that and that body, he has to be dumb. Now that I'm older, I have stopped caring about the buts. I learned that nobody can be perfect and that people will always hold someone who's attractive to crazy high standards. A lot of assumptions are made based on appearances, so I just stopped listening to them. You know that story about the couple and the donkey? Maybe it's a Bible story? But basically a couple is walking a donkey down a road and everyone is like, look at that stupid couple, walking on the road and letting that donkey do no work. They're so dumb. It's what animals are for, but they let the donkey call all the shots. Lol. So the husband lets the wife ride the donkey. Then everyone is all, look at that lazy ass wife, riding the donkey like she's queen shit on Turd Island. I'm paraphrasing, that henpecked cuck of a husband is like her little neutered manservant. So the husband and wife switch. Then they're all, typical man, he sits up the like the toxic patriarchal dictator he is. Total misogynist. And that submissive wife is content to be his slave woman. She ought to tie the donkey's harness around her neck as a leash would be more fitting. So then they both ride the donkey and everyone is all, that poor donkey. They're both on it. The wait. What is wrong with these lazy people? That's so abusive. When will these idiots learn? That story hasn't aged a day.